Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, which is called Sales Secrets. In this podcast, we share sales secrets which are practically implementable. So, we talk about personal branding, creating irresistible offers, and finally, how do you close those sales calls. And today, the podcast is about innovative personal branding, and content is a very, very big part. I'll say content is the soul of personal branding. And today, we have a Fortune 500 content strategist who is an amazing writer. She's been writing for 7.5 years. And I'm not going to give a very long and boring introduction. So, welcome to our podcast, Pooja. So happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Taiba. I am absolutely delighted to be here and to be a part of your podcast. So, thank you very much for inviting me.
Love to have you. So, Pooja, why don't you tell us about your journey? How did it spark? And since the time you have began writing, how it has changed you as a person, personally, professionally, the impact it has had on you and your tribe?
Okay, great question. So, my journey is very different from a lot of you youngsters, if I may say that, on LinkedIn right now, because I started at 42 on LinkedIn. My content started about 5 years before. Now, I used to write a lot, and I never took it as a profession. I just said that, hey, you know what, I can write. So, let me try and put out a blog or do something like that. So I used to blog for the local paper in Dehradun where I live, and gradually my friends started reading it and saying, hey, you know what, and I used to write about life stuff like when corona happened, and but without the gyan, because I just felt that there is so much gyan on the internet. By gyan I mean everybody is trying to give you unsolicited advice, and nobody likes to hear it, least of all my children, because I have grown up girls. One's 21, one is 17, and every time you sit to talk, it's like, as long as you don't lecture us, as long as you don't tell us the should be, could be, we are good, which is what I incorporated in my content. And I said, let's put it in a story form, whatever I write about. So, like, Corona took so much of us. Um, we lost some, we gained some. But what I realized is that there's always something good. Pick up something good. And I used to focus on that in my content. Now, one of my friends, she used to work for one of these not Fortune 500, she used to work for one of India's biggest PR companies. And in the in their PR world, what they had to do was write blogs for leaders of Fortune 500 companies, and that is how my entry started. Because apparently they had gone back and forth with a couple of them, and I can't name them, but it just wasn't getting approved. So on a side note, she reached out to me and said, hey, you know what, you write so well, can you just read this brief and write this blog? It needs to go in, it was a Forbes feature 2 days later. And I was like, 2 days? So I said, okay, fine. So I literally sat up all night, finished that entire blog, gave it to her in the morning before her presentation. She showed it to the client. It was approved in the first lot. And she was like, what the hell happened? And then their company kind of outsourced me to write for them, which was good, because for me, I had never been financially independent. And for me, that was like, oh my God, I can actually get paid to write and do something that I love doing. So when they started, it kind of started my journey. And I used to meet all these Fortune 500 people and all. And they used to always say, why are you going via them? And I said, ethics. And they're the ones who kind of roped me. And that's how I met you. I wouldn't, just cross lines. And that's how my foray into blogs and content started. How did LinkedIn come about is a whole new story. So let me get you to continue. Otherwise, I am a storyteller. I think you
I
know
know.
me because you are part of
Two
my
girls
fabulous
on a
audience.
podcast can get crazy.
Yeah.
Two women
So
on
I
a
can keep
podcast.
going on and on. So I don't want to take away your questions.
Yeah,
So as
it's
you ask me,
lovely.
I'll keep answering.
Yeah, so I read that you wrote a book also, and that was selected in, Dehradun Literary Festival, and you were kind of a finalist there. So you have
So
been a.
yeah, that book was on, it came out before Corona, and the sequel is also written. The reason the sequel isn't out yet is because it's being kind of considered for a movie right now. But these things take time. And with everything happening in the world, it's okay. It'll happen when it has to happen. I'm a firm believer of trust the timing, trust the process. It always falls into place. So the book was, yes, it was a finalist in two literature festivals in India. It was also shortlisted. in the United States for fiction for one of their literature festivals. And that was like my, oh my God moment, because it was like people read it. And the book was about the complexities of modern day relationships, which I think is something we should talk about, because a lot of people in my life, as I have been growing up, I grew up in Bombay, got married here, I noticed that people are together for everything other than love. And I always say, but where is love? And they're like, that's okay. It's underrated. And I was like, love is underrated. How do you start kind of, building on a relationship? Today, when we are working professionally, what are we doing on LinkedIn? We are building a relationship before we get on that sales call. I said, at least build that trust and love before you just, kind of jump on. So the book did well and everything. And I have two more coming out there with Westland right now. That's on young adults of India, because I wanted to, again, talk a lot. Corona gave me that. I guess having my children at home gave me the inspiration to put it all down. So yes, they are the inspiration for that book. But I'm excited because, one part of my journey is pure fiction. And the other part, which I'm doing on LinkedIn with all of you, is pure nonfiction, where I get to meet like global people. So really, really excited.
That's amazing. And every time I read your content, as you mentioned, there's definitely a story, there's authenticity. You put your own pictures, you do everything yourself, and that shows up, how you present yourself. And I think what always stood out for me was your smile. Definitely, it was
Thank
your
you.
smile. You have, I think, the loveliest smile. So every time I would, look at your profile picture, I would be like, I want to get connected with her. And we were actually planning a big panel discussion today, but unfortunately, people and timings, we could not arrange that. Different people have, different priorities. So I said, let's do it one on one, because if I try to take dates of so many important people all at once, I won't be able to continue with the podcast. So that is why we started doing this. So let's talk now about, your expertise area, content. So when I am doing content, I've been doing it for now more than 4 years now, because I started my journey in 2020. So my journey started as a public speaking coach. I pivoted into personal branding, and now I'm a sales coach. So for the last 4 years, I was doing sales on the ground always, because when you are a coach, when you're starting up, you are doing sales and everything for yourself. But recently, I decided, hey, everything else can be outsourced, but if you don't know sales, you can't teach your team and nobody else. So, content is also a very, very big factor, because, I feel that uh, imagine you have to, you're opening a luxury hotel. So, content is like you're putting hoardings everywhere, you're just putting those signposts, and somehow people lead up to that hotel because they've seen something somewhere. So, how do you come up with content ideas? Like, what is your thought process when you're thinking about, okay, I have to post from Monday till Friday? What's your approach?
Okay, great question here, Taiba. So the way I do content, sometimes it's on impulse. I am very, very impulsive as a human, and I think sometimes it shows in my content. I literally write on the go, like in the car while I'm, suddenly talking to somebody, and it's like 1 second, wait, let me quickly record something. But yes, there is a method to my madness. When I talk of content, so I focus on the ideal clients that I am kind of targeting. Okay, for example, if I am on LinkedIn, there is a certain sector of people that I am targeting, which is the Fortune 500. I'm also working with governments of America and India to manage their personal brands for some of their leaders. Again, there are a lot of NDAs in place, so I have to be very careful on, what I'm writing and what I'm saying, because some of them are politically inclined, and we have to stay away from uh, conversations which may do well impression-wise, but it's not something we can use. So if I were to put this to me today, how do I structure my content? I have three different pillars that I would use. All my three pillars, I say either inform, they educate, or they entertain. And I use all three of them every single week. Whether it's entertaining, whether it's informing, and whether it's educating, because all of them are important. Now, my clients have never engaged with me, not even once. They have never liked a post, they've never commented, but they've seen. And that is what I say content does. Like when I've just changed my banner and I say that your online authority content is what can make it or break it. And trust me when I say that, how you write, it's not what you're writing. Everybody says, oh, chat GPT is there. I can tell you right now, 50 kya 75-80% of creators on LinkedIn are on chat GPT. Use chat GPT, but at least try and humanize it, infuse your personality, put something for me to know that this is Taiba or this is Pooja.
Mm.
So how would you know that, right? So for me, what is my differentiating factor, which also I never knew it. Thanks to all of you, my awesome audience, I got to know that you are always jumping, you're always excited, you're always like, this energizer bunny. And I said, that's it. That's my thing. Because I actually am like that, even as a human. Like, of course, life happens to everybody, but for me, when I am at work, it's absolute focus at work. So nothing deters me from there. I give in my full 100% to what I am, and that is how the content reflects. So content is not written to rake in impressions, likes, comments. Content is written targeted to a specific audience. They are the ones I need to target. They are not commenting, they are not engaging. Yes, you have another audience that you've built, which is part of your community, which engage with you, which is super important. But the ones that are giving you business are also equally important. And my content is targeted to them, which is what I say that when you start writing content, spend time in figuring out positioning, because the way the world knows what you tell them you are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will just read, right? So, how does the world know who you are? You say, hi, I'm Taiba, I'm a sales coach. Okay, I accept, unless I have reason to doubt. So, how you position yourself is what is extremely important. What your offer is very important. After that comes content, and then, of course, comes sale.
Yes. So again, coming back to the question, like, how's your content? Like for me, okay, I'll tell you something crazy. So how I design my content, and I've started doing this of late. So I'm a person who likes to talk. So what I do is I talk to Chat GPT and I get down all my ideas in like one shot. So I will sometimes I will even do some very deep, meaningful conversations, even therapy sessions with ChatGPT. Like if I'm not in touch, if I'm traveling, if I'm all over the place and I'm not in touch with my therapist, so I'll just simply sit with ChatGPT and I will just even do therapy with ChatGPT. I know it's crazy, but
No,
I
no,
do
but it's
it.
good. I mean, see, whatever works for you. So that is how I was structured. I generally sit on the weekends when I sit to write content. And then what happens is, even though I've written it, like I have over 200 posts already saved with which I haven't even posted yet. But having said that, it's because sometimes, things happen in the middle of the week and you're like, hey, I want to write about this first,
Yeah.
So what you've already written kind of gets shift back. So yes, you need to structure it, because if you don't structure your content, you're going to be
Mm,
all over the place. One day you're writing this, second day you're writing that. It's not going to resonate with who you're trying to hit,
mm,
right? So spending batch content creation is something that I definitely advise to anybody who asks me about content. Sit, whether you're talking to chat, whether you're talking to Perplexity, you're talking to Grok, whoever you're talking to, or you're just kind of communicating with yourself. Like I put down my ideas on my own, but I like to write. But that's my way of doing it. Use Chat GPT, use EasyGen. There are lots of people using different kinds of apps. Use whatever app is good for you, but
mm,
structure it and tell that app that this is what I want to talk about. If I am talking about content directed to Fortune 500s, then my content has to reflect that I am talking to them. It has to feature in that content. And
mm,
of course, the basic body of very well written content on LinkedIn is your hook, your rehook, your body, and a takeaway, which is very important, and then the CTA. By takeaway, I mean something powerful to recap the entire post, a line at the end, a quote, something. And of course, no plagiarism. Because there's so much of
mm,
templatized copy paste content that
mm,
now a lot of us are just unfollowing. Like you just unfollow, I cannot see the same thing over and over and over again. So if you're original, you will stand out. And how can you be original? With well-structured content.
mm. So today I wrote a post and it was about how I fired my cook because it was creating a
I read
headache.
and I commented too.
Okay. So actually, I mean, I do a lot of these sessions, and now my strategy is also like I sit and talk to GPT. It captures all my ideas, and then I create the hooks. I think I so it's like I always give my content. I know what it needs to write. Sometimes I will ask it, okay, remove the grammatical errors, make the language easy. So I will do all of that, but content always goes from my side, and I have taken a lot of content from my therapy sessions. I mean, a lot of times I'm doing therapy. I'm
Wow,
going
that's interesting. See, that's what I'm saying, that you have to live life also. Go for that coffee, meet somebody. There's so much to write about if you actually live life also. No, you meet people, you go out. How do you get content ideas? I get content ideas through everyday inspiration. Like today, you got a content idea with your cook. I mean, it's just something that is going on in life every single day, and it just kind of clicks and says, "Hey, this is what I want to write about." So, and it makes it exciting, it makes it different,
Mm.
which is what people are coming to your page for, to read something that would inspire, educate, or entertain them, but written differently. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so what your idea is, like, you write all the content in advance, but you don't schedule it.
No, because scheduling doesn't work. The algorithm somehow gets to know that it's scheduled. So, of course, it kind of already knows, and it knows what you're going to post. So, I feel that the impressions kind of, there's nothing to prove it, but I feel that scheduling posts kind of hit the impressions, which is why, and anyways, we're going to be online to post and comment, right? So, if you are going to be online at that time to post and comment, it literally takes 2 seconds to just press post. It's
Mm,
already
but
saved.
I
You
think
just
that
have
was
and press post.
I think that was a mistake that I've been doing, that I schedule like for 1 week or 2 week if I'm out, if I'm not able to. And I sometimes wonder that why my impressions are like they are not at the level that I thought. And some of the posts they do incredibly well also without me
It's
like
because of scheduling. Do not schedule, because see, scheduling really harms the reach. I've noticed it because I've tried it out. So this is something I can definitely say with certainty that I would never schedule. And anyways, like I said, that we are already online to engage, right? So if I
hmm.
am going to be online to engage, then why schedule? I'll just press up post. It takes like a second extra, so doesn't matter.
And the same is happening with commenting also. Like earlier it was like, you could drop insane number of comments, and a lot of people used to get a lot of traction using their commenting strategy. But now LinkedIn has got this restriction where a lot of accounts are getting restricted if they comment beyond 30 comments.
Yeah. So you
So I
have to be very
think
careful that you don't do. You can do gaps of 30 over 2 3 hours. Like I do it once in the morning, and then I'll do it in the afternoon, then in the evening. But that's how I batch comment, because if you do it more than one time, your account will get noticed.
so. What's your strategy with commenting? Like, do you focus on your clients? Because I remember it is said that you have to focus on three areas. One is obviously the people that you want eyeballs from your clients, then your competitors, and then big creators. So, what
Yeah, so
is
I
like,
have a 40-40-20 rule. 40% is ICP, which I have a list of, and I kind of go to their page and I comment every single day on whatever or wherever they post. So 40% is that. 40% is my audience, because obviously if the audience is there, then they want to hear from you. So that's on my post, which is 40%, and 20% would be the creators to kind of get noticed and get visibility. So that's how my strategy for content is, which is 442. And I absolutely swear by it, because it's something that works, gets you noticed, and pushes you into, closing conversions and things like that.
mm, that's cool. Okay, so uh, now let's shift gears from content to lead generation, which is a very, very important topic. So, what's your go to? Like, a lot of coaches, they run ads. A lot of coaches, they're only dependent on organic, and some coaches use a mix of both, like me. I run ads also on Facebook and Instagram, and then I have LinkedIn also. So those are my two ways in which people come to know about me or they enroll for my program. So how does that work for you?
I have never done an ad, and nor have I boosted anything. My leads have come purely inbound, and after inbound and outbound, I've done outbound as well. So, which is again very strategic, because the people I comment with, I would reach out. So that would be counted as outbound. So inbound and outbound is what I focus on, again through content. And yes, I reach up, I follow up twice or thrice. Beyond that, I know there is this number seven. Everybody says you should chase 7 times, but I don't, because I would not like to be chased 7 times. So I give it to 4, and I would follow up, say 4 times gently if you haven't received a reply. And after that, then just kind of politely decline. So the way to generate leads, if we are doing outbound, then that's how I would do it. If it's inbound, then it's very easy because then they already know. They've already been through the profile, then they reach out and they would book a call or they'd send me a DM and we, kind of hop on and take it ahead.
So,
Most of my conversions happen in the DMs. So I say to everybody who asks me on lead that please spend time in your DMs because that is where magic happens and that is where whoever is sending you a message is already a warm lead. How do you convert them through your, conversations? And obviously do not pitch sell in the first or second. To
hmm,
warm them up, know them. Because see, if I meet you in public the first time, I'm not going to say, hey, Taiba, this is what I do. Will you buy from me?
hmm.
You're going to talk slowly and then gradually figure out in conversation. And then, you'll get to know if they're interested in your service or not. So that's what I would ask people to do too.
So your outbound is purely through through comments. Whatever number of people comment on your post, you connect with them and slowly and steadily build rapport and
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, awesome, lovely. So there's also this thing that when you're posting content, you also have to post offers. So how do you balance the two? A lot of people are confused.
When you're posting, sorry, I didn't hear your question.
So like when you're posting about your regular content, and then you have to also get leads. So how you have to also post about your offerings. So how do you balance the two? Like, do you do it once in a week? Is it once a month? How? What's your thought process about it?
So that is something where I do once in a week, but I'm going to increase that because I feel that once in a week may be a little too less. Initially, see, it was just it all depends on how much work there is, right? And how much work you can take on. I don't want to get on there and say join my waitlist. Why? If I have the bandwidth to take it on, I'll take it on. So now that we've hired some more people to work with us and help us out, then now I can take on more work. So which is why I said as of right now, once a week was good because we could handle the number of clients we had. And since I do content myself for them, I don't, kind of give it to my team to do. So I need to be hands-on. And I definitely love living life too. So when my day ends, my day ends. Then nothing happens. My weekends are mine. I'm very particular. I don't take client calls on the weekends. So I would structure it to maybe 3 times a week now if I'm looking for more clients. It all depends, or you could do it every day at the end of every post. You could put it in comments. But my only takeaway here would be that focus on one offer per post. If there are too many offers, because ideally we have 2 or 3 offers, right? But one offer should be per post, and that post should reflect why that particular offer.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it makes total sense. It confuses people.
Yeah, it does.
So, okay, so now from a point of view of a freelancer, for example, there's a writer, just like, who's a budding writer, and they want to start their offering. So, like, how should they go about their like offers? Like, because now as a coach, I've learned having at least 2 offers is good. 3 offers is even better because it always gives you that leverage that you can you know everybody is not a high ticket client. So it's like when you walk into a good shop, they don't have just one type of product. They have different offerings as per your budget, and the same applies to a good business also. So what's your take on forming these offers, or how many offers do you recommend initially?
Two, have one passive offer like, a PDF, a tutorial, a Loom video, something that would sell on the side which could also act as a lead magnet, where people could kind of leave their emails and you could give them this for free. That's a way of getting to know them and introducing them to what you do. And one, of course, is your core offer as to what are you doing on LinkedIn. So for example, my core offer is content. Like I will do your content end to end. I will do your profile and then I will do your blogs, articles, and websites. So I have 3 offers. Depending on budgets, you can go ahead and choose whichever offer you want.
Okay. So yeah, obviously having 2, 3 offers is always good. At least 2 offers should be mandatory, I think, because if you have only one offer, either you have nailed that offer so well that you don't need. I also know coaches who say that only sell one offer, but I think they have really mastered that one offer. That one offer.
So passive. No, see, the reason I say 2 offers is because one is your core offer and then
Yeah,
one is like passive income, where people can
yeah.
just download and kind of, price it whichever price you want, but it just helps to have a kind of side ebook or a PDF or something that could help them. So
Yeah,
that really helps. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. My next question is, what's one mistake that you see a lot of people making on LinkedIn that you would like to, tell them and how they can avoid it?
Can I say two?
Yeah, sure.
So one mistake that I see very, very, very often is templatized content. And I can even tell you the creator whose template that is.
Mm,
Because now, when you interact with so many creators, everybody's style, So I see so many people just using the same framework and changing it around a little bit and then posting it. And then over and over and over again, it's the same thing. Like, there are so many templates that come to me that, hey, you know what, why don't you follow this template, why don't you do this? I said, but this is already done. If you're going to do
mm,
something that's already done, it's not going to be worth it. No one's going to read it, right? So that is one offer, that I don't agree with templatized content. Understand what and then reword it to suit you. Just
mm,
because it works for somebody, if something works for me, not necessarily it will work for you, because our audience may or may not be the same. You
mm,
could have a different audience, I could have a different audience, right? So you have to structure who are you writing for? That you have to figure out right in the beginning, even before your offer. Once you know that, then you go ahead and push it and say, this is who I'm writing for. This is who I'm targeting. This is my offer, and that's it. If it works for them, great. If it doesn't, I'll wait till the right person comes. You
mm,
have to have that kind of conviction that it's going to work. So that is something on templatize. And the second is commenting with emojis, chat comments. I hate those. I stopped replying to chat comments because sometimes I feel like use chat GPT, but at least put one line of your own, something to tell me that this
mm,
is you. So, and emojis, there are people that just they'll ask a question at the end, there'll be a dash. There are so many giveaways that chat gives you. If you are careful, you can very easily humanize it, but it takes time. Everything good takes time and effort. And if you want to be noticed in this sea of a billion users on LinkedIn, you have to stand out, because if you fit in, no one's seeing you, right? So these are
mm.
two mistakes that I definitely see people make.
Yeah, I also see people sometimes they comment on my post. I'm talking about something else, and they'll
Yeah,
tell about something else. Some very generic comment, hard work, honesty, integrity. I said, but I was talking about entrepreneurship. So, I mean, it's
like,
totally.
for example, today you posted on that cook. Now you're talking about your cook, and if somebody is going to say something absolutely random, it's like, okay, fine. You haven't even read the post. Like, on Monday, I put out a post. Yasmin Ali asked me out on a date.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I cannot even tell you the number of people that sent me a DM saying, "Oh my God, are you dating him?" And I was like, "Are you? No, I'm not. At least read till the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Read the post." And that's when I was like, "You guys don't even read the post, and you're just commenting and jumping into my inbox and saying that, oh my God, you are dating him." And I'm like, "No, I'm a married woman. I have two grown-up kids. I'm not in the market for dating." But yeah,
Long ago taken.
yeah, in the sense, it was, I mean, I didn't even reply, and I was telling Yasmin, and we just had this good
But
laugh. I was like, I don't even know. He's like, this is the point. People just don't read. I said, at least read the last line. Don't read the post if you don't want to, but read the last line so you can comment properly.
yeah, sometimes I won't comment so much because I want to read and go through
Yeah.
people. If I am, and I definitely take ideas. Like today, what I was doing was something interesting. I took a lot of pictures of different creators about how they are, clicking pictures at their own styles, and I like taking inspiration from different people. But then at the end, I will always make my own khichdi.
But that khichdi is what people are coming to you
Yeah.
for. No, see, they've seen everybody, and now they're like, okay, she's using. All of us use inspiration from each other, and that's so good, because I say that this internet, especially social media, it's opened, like, everybody was an everybody. Like, people were everybody, right?
Hmm.
From everybody is now become a somebody.
Hmm.
And that's so special, that everybody is a somebody, and every somebody can teach us so much. And that's what I say, that there's so much to learn from each other. There's no competition. There's enough room for everybody on this table. So compete instead of competition, collaborate. Because the bigger creators, all of us, wherever we are in our lives, we're so busy collaborating. There's no time to go, oh, she did this and I'm going to do that. Oh, this one did that and let's do this. If you get into the competing mode, you're going to stay here. If you get into the collaborating mode, that's where you'll go. So the choice is always yours, where you want to be.
And by the way, are you a BNI member? They have this thing,
No,
they have
why?
one of the core values,
Oh, okay.
collaboration over competition.
Okay, no, I'm not.
I recently went to one of the meetings. It was really nice, but I realized that, in this digital world, let's be honest, these, offline meetups are great. And I think every organization has its own purpose. But I realized that, for scaling, if you're looking to build something like more bigger and all of those things, I think you have to kind of build your brand online and you have to give it wings online. There's no other choice. Because let's be honest, we have also kind of adjusted in that mindset where we want to be online, we want to be offline also, but once in a while. We are also no more those people who like to have these events every single day, and these have kind of become less. But yeah, I think times have changed and we need to adjust according to whatever the times are bringing us. So that brings us to an end, and I have a wonderful rapid fire with me.
I love rapid fire.
Okay, so are you ready, Pooja, for your rapid
Yes, go for
fire?
it.
Okay, one word that defines your personal brand.
Pooja.
Oh, awesome. LinkedIn or Instagram?
LinkedIn, any given day.
Okay. Show up daily or show up real?
Show up real.
Awesome. Your go-to content format, carousel, reel, or a written post?
Between reel and written post, I like both.
Okay, awesome. A writing sin that you want people to know?
A writing sin that I want people to know.
Yeah.
Huh. Write with passion.
Okay. Writing sin. Okay, it's a sin that you don't.
Passion can be a sin too. I
Okay.
mean, who says
If you
passion
overdo it, it's
is only, yeah, that's why I said passion can be a sin too.
okay. Coffee before content or content before coffee?
Coffee. I cannot wake up without that.
Okay. Most overused buzzword in personal branding.
Personal branding. Everybody is a personal branding coach.
Yeah. If your brand was a song, what genre would it be?
Rock. 90s rock. I'm a 90s. I just love it. And if I had to give a band, I would say Bon Jovi.
Awesome. Strategy or storytelling? What wins?
Soul telling.
Storytelling. Okay. Logo or no logo? What's your vibe?
I didn't have a logo, but I'm in the process of designing. So yes to logo.
Awesome. Most iconic personal brand in your eyes on LinkedIn.
So there's this guy I call Jay, which everybody knows. I call
I,
him Big Daddy. I call him Pretty Boy. I call him Yasmin Ali. Ali.
the second, okay, the first though it was kind of obvious. Everybody knows. The second and the third also you have to name.
So the second one is Elimana. She's like another daughter to me, and I absolutely love her because she was like everything to me in Bosnia. So Elimana would be second, and
Okay,
the third would be my partner in crime, Ria Tiwari.
awesome. Okay, most iconic personal brand in your eyes. Oh, okay, that you have named. Talking to camera, love it or dread it.
I love it.
Awesome. Best time to post on LinkedIn.
I post at 11:15 a.m. Monday to Friday because weekends are totally mine and I do nothing. But having said that, the best time to post is depending on when you are free to comment. So post at a time that you are comfortable to comment and engage with your audience.
Okay. How long does it take to find your voice?
It could be overnight, it could take you years, but spend time on finding it because once you own your voice, that's when you own your brand.
Lovely. One thing you would never share on LinkedIn.
Um, my love life.
Awesome. I've also seen that, you're quite private about your life, like your personal life.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So thank you so much, Pooja. It was a lovely session.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So, so excited to have done this with you, Taiba. This was absolutely a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure, Pooja. And yeah, we will get along and we will continue these discussions and conversations in future too. I will post it everywhere. I think omni-channel is the best way to go in 2025. 2024 was the year when you wanted to build a brand on one platform, but I think this is the year where you want to go to all the platforms and at least tell, hey, I'm here also and this
Yes.
is what I do.
Yeah.
So it was a lovely session. Any last things that you want to say?
I just want to say that, it gets overwhelming being on social media. It gets exhausting. And there are days that you just want to throw everything, shut down the laptop and say, that's it, I quit. But my only one tip to everybody out there, including you, including me, is that when days get like that, just take off and take a break, because social media is supposed to be social. It's supposed to be when you want to do it. Yes, discipline is required for anything that we want to scale, but it cannot come at the cost of your mental peace. And that needs to be prioritized. Your mental peace, your family life, your time. Those are the reasons that we are building online. Those are the reasons that we're building a brand online. So we get that freedom. So don't get that freedom at the cost of everything else that you're doing to get that freedom.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I think Justin Welch also, says the same thing. I was reading one of his posts today, and he said the same thing that I don't want to hire a lot of employees. I don't want to scale up. This is the life. I just want to work three, four
Live it.
hours a day and just build a life and business I really enjoy. And I think that is also now the mentality of a lot of entrepreneurs, but it's not just about a mad race about numbers. They're not chasing. They want
Because
that.
there's no end to numbers, Taiba. See, we want 10K month, then you want 20K month, then you want a 50K month, then you want a 100K month, and then what? And then you just burn out and die. I mean, why?
Mhm.
Yes, some people want it, and that's fine. That's to each their own. But I am not that person. For me, yes, I have something in my mind, which is why, when the reason I wasn't posting about the offer initially was because I had enough work. I didn't need it. Now, if I want to scale up a little bit more because we've got more people to work with us, I can. But I know myself that after a few more months, maybe I'll just stop and say, okay, that's it, I'm fine. But I don't want to work on weekends. I don't want to work when it's, say 8 p.m. So I
Mhm.
would rather spend that time cuddling with my child, watching Life List or something on Netflix. I don't know what I'll do, but those things are important to me.
Absolutely, life has to have some balance. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Pooja. I hope the audience will, enjoy this podcast. This is our first. You are the debutante on this,
Thank
and
you.
kind of open.
I'm special being the
Yes,
first. So
yeah.
very, very excited.
We were actually supposed to do another podcast before this, but because of some reasons we could not do, and therefore you are the first one.
I
So
am so glad to hear that. Thank you
yeah,
so
and
much. Makes it
I
even
know
more special.
we will be, you will be very lucky on the podcast, fingers crossed, and it will reach to a lot of people. And they will actually, because today what we discussed was real practical things, no fluff, no gyan. What you apply, what I apply, what we are
Yeah.
doing our businesses.
And that's how it should be, which is why I say that talk to people that are real and are giving you proper. There's so many people, and everybody gets confused. Who should you follow? So I
Mm,
always say follow your heart, yes, but listen to proper advice that you can use. And that's the advice that you should follow like an arrow. So that's what helps.
awesome, awesome. So let's say goodbye, keep learning, keep growing.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks.